where the line between reality and legend blurs. Our story begins. It's a journey into the mysterious and somewhat unsettling world of sirens and mermaids. These legendary beings stir our imagination, intertwining beauty and danger. Picture this: a world where beauty and danger are tangled up together like a ship's rope. On the surface, these creatures are absolutely stunning, with a charm that's hard to resist. But here's the catch. Just below the waves, there's a darker side waiting, full of secrets and maybe a bit of danger. We're going to explore this world with a bit of a Christian perspective, trying to peel back the layers of these myths. Are these creatures just stories people cooked up a long time ago? Or is there something more to them? Something that says a lot about us humans and our endless search for meaning in this big, wild world? It's a journey full of questions. Are these mythical beings a sign of good luck or a bad omen? As we wade through their tales and legends, we might just find some surprising answers. Let's take a closer look at sirens, those mysterious sea creatures. They weren't always pictured with fishtails like we think of them now. Over time, their look has changed a lot, but they've always been closely linked to the sea. The word siren gradually became what we know as mermaids today. Sirens first appeared in Homer's Odyssey, an important old poem. Originally, as imagined by Apollonius of Rhodes, they were part bird and part woman, which was quite different. But by the 3rd century BC, their image started to change to that of the mermaids we know now. What's really interesting is that there isn't one specific way sirens look, as it changes with different cultures and times. It looks like every period had its own version of these mythical beings. When we explore various siren stories, we'll see a wide variety of looks and characters, each making the legend more unique. Leading our parade of mermaid stories is Atargatis, the Assyrian goddess known for her connections to the moon, femininity, and water. Her influence was immense, stretching far beyond her Assyrian origins to captivate hearts across the Mediterranean. Her tale is one of love, loss, and transformation. After falling deeply in love with a human shepherd and bearing his child, a tragic twist leads to her lover's demise. Racked with guilt, she takes her own life while she's inside a lake, only to be transformed into a mermaid. Her story inspired the construction of temples in her honor from Israel to Greece, Rome, and the distant shores of the British Isles. It's a tale that likely shaped the ancient world's view of these enigmatic sea creatures. Now, we turn our gaze to the British Isles, and more specifically, the rich folklore of Scotland. Each story we uncover adds another layer to our understanding of these mystical creatures, bridging the gap between myth and reality. With a particular focus on the rugged coasts of Scotland, here nestled within its rich folklore, we encounter a rather unique mermaid, known as the Kiss. Picture her with the elegance of a woman from the waist up, seamlessly blending into the powerful tail of a salmon. In Gaelic lore, she's worshipped as the Maid of the Wave, or the Maid of the Sea. But her realm isn't limited to the ocean. She's also at home in rivers and babbling streams. The story gets more interesting with the myths about the keys. People say that if you catch one, she'll grant you 3 wishes. This idea has led to many fascinating stories. One story is about people marrying Kiss. These marriages weren't just make-believe. They were thought to produce extraordinary children. These kids from magical marriages were believed to be destined for a life at sea. They grew up to be expert sea pilots, but not just any pilots. They were famous for their incredible knowledge of the sea, navigating dangerous waters with amazing skill. It was as if they got a bit of their mythical mother's power over the sea, a gift that turned them into legends themselves, leading ships safely through the riskiest waters. Next up, let's venture to Russia, where the mermaid folklore takes a darker, more ominous turn. Quite a shift from Scotland's gentler sea maidens. Here we encounter the rusalka, known for their not-so-warm feelings towards humans. These are the spirits of young women who met tragic ends, drowning in despair and sorrow. The rusalka are a stark contrast to the playful mermaids of other legends. Here they have a more darker purpose. They use their beautiful appearance and captivating voices to attract men into the water. When a man gets close enough, the rusalka's hair turns into a net, trapping him. Their slippery bodies make it almost impossible to get away. This gives a scary twist to mermaid myths, showing how different cultures have various and sometimes dark versions of these stories. In Russian stories, the rusalka is more than just a tale. It reflects deep cultural fears and beliefs. Their stories mix beauty, sadness, and magic in a very haunting way. This shows how mermaid legends are different in each place, each with its own special touch in the world of myths. Now, let's go back to the famous Odyssey by Homer. This isn't just an old Greek poem. It's a major part of literary history and still fascinates people today. Imagine this. Odysseus, the ultimate warrior hero, is trying to get home after the big Trojan War. His journey is full of incredible events, but one part is really famous: his encounter with the sirens. Here's what happens. The goddess Circe warns Odysseus about these sirens. They're not ordinary singers of the sea. Their voices are so captivating they can make you forget everything. The place where the sirens hang out is eerie, a field surrounded by the remains of unlucky sailors. It's definitely creepy. Circe's advice to Odysseus is to plug his crew's ears with wax because these tunes are irresistible. But if he's dying to hear them, he should have his crew tie him to the ship's mast. As they get closer, Odysseus realizes the danger Circe talked about. These sirens mix beauty with fear. They sit by the sea, combing their shiny hair and singing songs that are too tempting. But any sailor who falls for it ends up in a bad way, just adding to the spooky scene. In Homer's story, it's suggested that these creatures are children of some sea god or river spirit. This story, mixing Greek gods and exciting storytelling, acts like a bridge between ancient myths and old stories from the Bible. Now, in Greek mythology, let's talk about Phorcys, the OG of sea gods. He's hooked up with Ceto, who's a big name in the Sea Goddess League. Together, they're pretty much the ultimate power couple under the waves, having a bunch of kids who are, well, let's just say they're not your average next-door neighbors. Then there's Achelous, known for being the god of the biggest river in Greece, the Achelous River. His father is Oceanus, the eldest child of Uranus and Gaia, the mother of Uranus, from whose sexual union she bore the Titans. So, when you think about it, Achelous is pretty much ancient Greek royalty. And then, let's not forget about our slithery snake. This guy's not just lounging around. He's all about guarding these mysterious apples. This part might ring some bells, reminding you of that famous scene in the Garden of Eden with that forbidden fruit. It's like these Greek myths are giving a sly wink to the stories we've heard in the Bible, blending ancient worlds in a way that's as intriguing as it is mysterious. If you're familiar with the early chapters of Genesis, you're probably catching my drift. If not, no worries. I'm here to connect the dots between these ancient Greek myths, the siren legends, and what's in the Bible. Let's start from square one and see where this adventure leads. In the beginning, when the world was still fresh and unmarred by human folly, a single act of disobedience in the Garden of Eden set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the fate of mankind. At the heart of this tale lies a serpent, more cunning than any beast of the field that the Lord God had made. It was this serpent that whispered temptation into the ear of Eve, leading her and Adam astray from the one commandment they were given, not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But every action has its consequence, and for the serpent, the price of its deceit was a curse. The Lord God, in his anger, shouted a punishment so severe that it reverberated through the annals of history and mythology. "Due to your actions," he shouted, "you are now the most cursed of all the creatures of the land. You will slither on your stomach, feeding on dust for as long as you live." Imagine, if you will, the serpent, once perhaps a creature of beauty and grace, now condemned to slither in the dust, forever a symbol of treachery and sin. Yet the curse was more than a physical transformation. It was the inception of an eternal conflict. This conflict was more than just a regular quarrel. It signaled a war that would last for generations, a huge struggle between Eve's descendants and the serpent's lineage. In every myth and legend passed down through time, we can hear hints of this ancient announcement. The serpent's curse was not only its own ruin, but also the start of a story that would be part of many tales and beliefs. But the story doesn't stop there. Hidden in this curse is a hint of hope, a promise of fixing things. It talks about a future, a descendant of the woman who would defeat the serpent. Christians see this as a prediction of Christ, the last Adam, who would fix what the first one did wrong. He would confront the serpent, not in Eden's beautiful gardens, but on the harsh wood of the cross. His sacrifice would overcome the serpent's harm, making up for the first sin. However, at that moment, as the serpent heard its punishment, it couldn't understand how much it had lost. Filled with rebellion and anger, it only thought about short-term wins and causing more trouble for people. So, as the Genesis story goes on, the serpent, or the evil it stands for, tries to trick humans again, leading to the events of Genesis 6. After the serpent's curse ended, humans grew and prospered. But the shadow of that old conflict remained, hinting at more trouble to come. The scene was set for a new part of the story, one that would mix the destinies of heaven and earth even more. In those times, human women, as beautiful as spring flowers, caught everyone's attention. Among the heavenly beings watching over creation, a feeling of unrest started. These sons of God looked at human women with a longing that went beyond the skies. Driven by a desire that went against their divine nature, some of these watchers agreed to a forbidden promise, a decision that would determine their destiny and the world's. They came down to earth and chose wives. This act was against the natural order and led to strange results. Their children were the Nephilim, great giants and famous men. Their very existence showed how much the Watchers had gone against the rules. These powerful beings roamed the earth, incredibly strong and never satisfied. But they were just a sign of a deeper problem, a world straying from its intended path. As the Watchers lost themselves in earthly pleasures, forgetting their heavenly role, the balance of the world almost fell into chaos. The sacred mixed with the unholy, starting an era full of legends where myth and reality couldn't be told apart. But this story isn't just about the giants on Earth. It's also about the Watchers themselves, how they lost their noble status, and the consequences that spread through the heavens. These beings, once protectors of humans, became their corruptors, leading to events that would require action from the divine. Their story, which is not as well known, is recorded in the apocryphal Book of Enoch, a text that reveals more about this heavenly drama. As the world fell deeper into chaos, everything was set for a huge event meant to purify the earth. The Great Flood, a divine reaction to a world in chaos, was about to happen. Before we explore the Great Flood and its effects, let's take a moment to think about the downfall of the Watchers. Their story is a warning about desire and responsibility, showing how fine the line is between the holy and the unholy. In the midst of a world struggling with the aftermath of the Watcher's fall, there was Enoch. He was just a human, but he was chosen to see visions that revealed the secret workings of both heaven and earth. On his extraordinary journey, led by the angel Uriel, Enoch saw amazing and scary things. He learned the final fate of the Watchers, the fallen angels who had broken the divine rules. Chained up, they were doomed to wait for the day of great judgment, a time to answer for their sins against both heaven and earth. But the Watchers weren't the only ones facing God's anger. The women who had been with these heavenly beings who had given birth to the Nephilim also faced punishment in this cosmic trial. Turned into sirens, their very nature became a sign of their wrongdoing. These cursed creatures, once human women, now represented temptation and destruction, forever drawing unsuspecting souls to their end. Enoch's vision showed a mix of judgment and consequences, linking human mistakes with divine fairness. Uriel's words made Enoch understand how serious the Watcher's sin was. They had not only gone after forbidden relationships, but had also led humans astray. Teaching them secrets meant only for the gods. Their actions had damaged the whole structure of creation, spreading their sin far beyond the earth. The judgment against the Watchers and their partners showed how serious their mistakes were. It was a decision that echoed through time, warning everyone, both mortals and immortals, about the risks of going beyond their limits. But Enoch's journey wasn't just about judgment and sadness. It was also about learning and understanding. He was the only one who knew the secrets of the universe and the divine plan that controls everything. His visions let us see a bit of how the divine works, like a rare look behind the curtain of heaven. As Enoch's story ends, we're left to think about the importance of what he learned. His unique experiences link myths and holy writings, the known and the unknown. Picture a world that's off track. Everywhere you look, there's chaos and wrongdoing. It's like a beautiful painting being ruined. That was the situation on Earth, and things had gotten so bad that a big change was necessary. This is where Noah comes in. He was one of the few good people left, someone who still knew right from wrong. Seeing all this, God decides it's time for a big reset. And Noah was the perfect person to help with this new start. God tells him about the plan, an enormous flood to clean away the chaos and begin again. He instructs Noah to build an ark, a big and strong boat to save his family, and a pair of every living creature. It's like the ultimate lifeboat for the biggest storm ever. Noah gets to work. Imagine the sheer scale of this task. Building something that's more like a floating fortress than a boat, all while the rest of the world is carrying on with its chaos, oblivious to what's about to hit them. The ark becomes a symbol of hope, a testament to Noah's faith and perseverance. Then the skies open up. It's not just a heavy downpour, it's like the heavens themselves are pouring out their wrath. Rain lashes down non-stop for 40 days and nights. The world as they knew it, with all its flaws and beauty, is submerged under this relentless tide. It's a reset, a return to the drawing board for all of creation. This flood isn't just about destruction. It's a story of rebirth, of washing away the old to make way for the new. It speaks to the idea of renewal, of getting a second chance to set things right. After the flood, as the waters went down and the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat, everything felt new. The air was clean, and the earth was ready for a fresh start. Then, a rainbow appeared in the sky, a sign of a new promise and a symbol of hope, showing that new beginnings can come from big endings. Once the floodwaters had gone, leaving a new start for people, the ocean stayed deep and mysterious. It's as if it held on to the secrets from before the flood, hiding them under its waves. People now had a new respect, maybe even a bit of fear, for this huge body of water. The sea, with its unknown depths and hidden creatures, has always fascinated us. The ocean became a symbol of the unknown and the wild. It's this huge, living thing that's both beautiful and scary. Back then, the ocean wasn't just about fish and boats. It was believed to be home to both wonderful and terrifying beings. Stories spread about creatures rising from the deep and about sirens luring sailors to their end. It seemed the flood had left a mystical mark on the sea. These myths from the depths show our interest in what we don't understand. The sea was like Earth's last frontier, a place where the rules of land didn't apply. It reminded people of the flood, when the world was covered in water, and suggested that parts of that old world might still be hidden below. But the ocean's mysteries weren't only about monsters and legends. It was also seen as a spiritual place, a link between humans and something bigger. In many cultures, the sea represented the soul's journey, change, and new beginnings. It was like a mirror, showing our deepest fears and greatest wonders. The flood might have reset the world, but it also left us with stories and beliefs about the sea. From mermaid tales to legends of underwater cities, the ocean became a canvas for our shared imagination. It's where we put our dreams and fears, where we face the unknown, and where we learn to respect nature's power. We see how we relate to the world, a balance between curiosity and caution, the known and the unknown. After the Great Flood, there was a promise of a new world, one without the sea and all its mysteries and myths. Imagine a future Earth without the vast, enigmatic ocean. This is a huge change. Think of a world without the endless blue sea. The lack of the sea in this new world is symbolic, like ending an old story full of mystery, danger, and charm. The sea often stood for the unknown, things too deep for us to understand. Getting rid of it is not just a physical change, but also a spiritual renewal. In this new vision, the land is not just a counterpart to the sea, but the only place for life's events. By removing the ocean, a source of many old fears and wonders, the world seems cleaner, purer, and complete again. This new Earth is a place of clear understanding and unity, where the divisions and mysteries that used to inspire us are solved. This idea matches the biblical prophecy of a new heaven and earth, where the old things are gone and a new way begins. It's a world without tears, death, or pain, where people live in harmony with the divine. This promise gives us hope for a future where today's complexities and challenges are replaced with peace and calm. As we finish these old stories, we're left wondering what other truths might be hidden in different myths and legends. The stories from Genesis and Enoch are more than just old tales. They reflect our deepest searches and questions. And that's the end of this journey. If you enjoyed this story, check out Jimmy's Randomness for more interesting and intriguing videos. Subscribe, like, and see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.